County Executive Anthony Picente has made a pretty big proposal for downtown Utica, and a lot of people wondering, what does it all mean? And the County Executive's on the line right now, Tony Picente. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. So let's start with, if you had your way and everything came together, what would it look like down there by the auditorium?
Well, we're going to show people in just a couple of days a little more, a much more detailed plan than they can envision in their minds. So it's really going to look, or it could look like, something very, very special, and something that can attract people, which is the goal here, attract investment and continue with investment and build upon the investment that local businesses have made in that general area of downtown and Bag Square and up Genesee Street and all the different places that have popped up, and the investment in lofts and just over and over. So it's more, and I know everybody's getting wrapped around this casino idea, which is part of it, but again, that's an important point. It's part of it.
Yeah.
It's not the catch-all, and I think some officials and people are getting lost in that we're, pardon the pun, we're putting all our money on the casino, and that's gonna generate and make things all well. But
what is the
part of everything?
Yeah. What kind of investment would the United Nation be making?
Well, that's a key point here. When you look at what we're doing at the auditorium, and we're going to put some more, we're putting more money into that. We're making another significant investment in that, which when it's done will have at least $20 million in that building over the last 3 or 4 years.
Wow.
That's a lot of money, and that's money that comes from the state that the county has partnered with to make that a world-class facility once again from what it was intended to be when it was built, and brought it back. And that's piece one. Piece two is the Oneidas would be committed to putting $50 million in a structure in that downtown, and without one penny of state or federal or local dollars, and that's significant to leverage other money that we are pursuing and have investors in line for the overall American Craft Beer Museum and Innovation Center. And I think when people see the plans and really take a look at it, and that's all I really want at this point, is to have a discussion and have an open mind and just look at it. I'm disappointed at some the local reaction and some of the officials to dismiss it without really understanding it, without asking questions, without digesting it a little bit more. And so hopefully this week, as we put it out and begin the discussion a little more publicly, we'll be able to expand on our point. But it's about investment in the area, and it's about attracting people. We need to have more people downtown. We need to have more people in this community as a whole, and that is about jobs, and it is about investment, and it is about tourism. So blending all those in, you need to have more. And right now, as far as I see, we're the only one out there with a plan, or at least an outline, and a dedicated investor.
Right. Manansky.
Yeah, I know you've said this before. Just saying no, this isn't a good idea without offering a solution isn't really.
I heard you said no last week, Jeff.
Oh well, listen, no. I'm saying at least you're coming to the table with an idea.
Well,
but I want to ask you about Vernon Downs.
Sure.
Have you talked to Vernon Downs, and would this hurt them? Being they've got Turning Stone on one side, then they would have Turning Stone, I guess, on the other side too.
Well, no. I have talked to Vernon Downs, and I've been an advocate, and I talked to the governor's office during the budget sequence. I talked to them again the other day when we talked about this. I talked to Senator Griffo on Friday about Vernon Downs to continue that. So, Vernon Downs, everybody, go back years ago, and everybody said, oh, Vernon, that's the end of Vernon when Turning Stone first opened in 1993. Right. And then when they expanded in 97, and then when they got bigger and bigger. Now, Vernon Downs is still there, but as I said before, horse racing tends to struggle on the harness side, but does it hurt it? I don't see how it does, and it's just an interesting discussion when everybody's telling me about gambling is not in the vision, it's not good, but you got to say Vernon Downs. Well, kind of the same thing here. I mean, and if we're looking at it in one aspect, of jobs and growth and entertainment and all that, and that's what the district is about. The district is about entertainment. It's about attracting people, but it's about not competing too.
Do you think there's something to do with the Oneida Nation, the controversy that we've lived with in the last 10 years? Because I got to tell you, if you have an investor that's going to come in and say, I'm going to spend $50 million and I don't want any help, imagine us tripping over ourselves to get that investment.
Well, that's a great point. That's what I keep saying, and especially with what that allows us to leverage in other investment through the various state and federal programs that are out there, but also in terms of an investor that can do all this and can transform a block in one fell swoop, and we can continue to build upon that. So it is about a large investment, but it's also about the vision of attraction and of entertainment is real. And we talked about this. I talked to several counselors last week and legislators about Saratoga, because everybody talks about between what Saratoga has done in terms of nanotechnology with Global Foundries and with what they've done in the whole area of downtown Saratoga. That's built upon those two models, and Saratoga, the racing is still such a large part of it, because what attracts people there, what sustains those businesses on Main Street, those stores, that we could have those, but you have to have more than just stores. Stores don't succeed on their own, especially in the downtown. And restaurants that have grown can grow even more, and that's why the model is not a competitive model in terms of the restaurant factor or the hotel factor. It builds upon everything that we have, and the Beer Museum, which is really a bigger piece, even bigger than the casino, if you look at size and scope and what it can do, can add to everything that's happening with our brewery, with Varick Street, with all of the different entities that have poured thousands and thousands of dollars that have added up to millions. I'm trying to enhance that and build upon that.
Could you see in the Beer Museum? I'm a little confused as to what the Beer Museum would be like. But there's the beer trail, there's the wine trail, and we have distilleries as well that are opening up in the region. This could be a starting point that would take you off to a tour of our breweries and in the region as well as right here in the area. I guess I'm saying it, but I'm asking that as a question.
Yeah, no, that's a great visionary look, because it does build upon what's being done. First of all, right down the street, which is in walking distance once everything is done to connect to Varick and the FX Map Brewery and all that's being done there and the tours that are being done there. It has the incubator component to help young entrepreneurs looking at this, and we've seen over 300 breweries pop up across this state alone, little microbreweries that are sustainable, but sustainable when you have people. And then to have a garden, to have the hops growing, to build upon the ag tourism aspect of it, like you say, with the wine and beer trail. I mean, this area is prime for that. We need critical mass. We need more people, and we need to attract them in a way that gets them to stop, gets them to stay, gets them to live here.
Yeah.
And this plan really, like I say, I'd love people to just look. I respect people. Everybody has an opinion, and I understand that. And you can say no very easily and very quickly. All I ask is that let's let it see the light of day. Let's put it out there. Let's have a real discussion instead of, oh, that's a crazy idea. It doesn't fit in with our vision. Well, what is the vision? I wish someone would tell me a little bit more, because right now we have a plan, and nobody else out there has a clear plan with investment, with design, with a scope that says these things can happen.
Are you, when you say there are officials, the one official that I know who's really come out publicly against this is Rob Palmieri, Utica Mayor Rob Palmieri. And there does seem to be somewhat, and I'm just going to, from the outside looking in, there seems to be a philosophical difference between you and the mayor, and even add Rob Esch into that mix. I don't want to call it a squabble, but it seems like there's tension there. Do you feel that tension?
Well, I don't feel that tension. Like I said, I'm disappointed because I also read where this morning where Mike Galimi said he's opposed to it, and I had a conversation with Mike and showed, and I've been showing these officials this plan. I have not showed it to the mayor, and I have rolled it out in that regard to say, let's take a look at it. Let's breathe. Let it breathe, just as I said now, and let's ask questions about it. Mike was in my office for about a half hour and said, "Well, we'll talk some more." And then the next day, it's in the paper. He's against it. I'm disappointed in the reaction. I'm not. I mean, if people are against it, I understand that. They have good reason. Same with the mayor. I would wish he would have let me show it to him before he came out so strongly.
Yeah.
And that's not the way to do business. I think we owe it to at least every official that comes in with a plan. And if any other official has a plan to this detail, or even in scope of what their real vision is on paper that looks for it. The mayor a few years ago, 2 years ago, when the whole housing issue came up down there, and said, and was looking at the Audit Authority and saying, "Well, where's your plan?" Well, guess what? We have a plan.
Yeah.
Where's your plan?
What I know, Rob Esch had plans, big plans with the MV500, and that didn't seem to go. But is he a part of this? Would he be a part?
He would. And when we roll it out, I expect him to be there with us, because this is part of what we talked about. And the investment in the interest of the Oneidas goes back to clearly the settlement, which said we would do more together and we would look at things beyond just the footprint of Turning Stone. And that's what happened with the AHL All-Star Game. And when they saw the capacity and the ability of what Utica is becoming and growing in the entire county, it's let's be a part of this investment. Right. So it is a partnership in that regard, and Rob was was clearly the big piece of that. Yeah. So all of this is, again, let's look at it. I think when people see this and what can be done, and I think people are envisioning a large OTB parlor or something to that effect, that hits not what this is, and really needs to get the concept of how do you draw people here.
Right.
It's got to be more than just.
I have some people with questions. 315-736-0186. One question was about why have you not helped Vernon Downs? And I think you. I
have helped.
I believe you answered that question.
And I've talked. It's like I don't put a press release every time I have a conversation out. But I talked to the governor's council on gaming on Wednesday. Had a conference call with him, a detailed conference call about Vernon Downs, about the Oneidas, about all the things we're doing. So I am supportive, and I've been supportive of Mr. Garrell.
I have Tim in Utica that's waiting. Tim, quickly with a question. Go ahead. Tim, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, what's your question?
I just want to ask you, do you think that the problem between the city and the county is a result of you, the county executive, wanting to build in Paul Murray's backyard? And by your own admission, you said you haven't shown him these plans yet. Don't you think maybe his nose is bent and you should have brought him on board a little earlier?
All right, I'm gonna disconnect Tim and let you listen to the response. Tony, go ahead.
Well, I brought the mayor on very early before my State of the County speech. It's something we've actually been talking about over a year about a casino. The mayor had set his sights on the harbor, and we had a difference of view of that as did the Oneidas in terms of whether that was ready, and also I didn't see the casino as a fit for the harbor. And I asked the mayor to take a look at these plans, and then last week, actually, I think he was on your show, Bill, and others, and came out very strongly without even having the opportunity to sit and discuss this in more detail. So I'm open to any time he wants to come in and see this, he can. And
so you're going to roll out. You'll roll out the pictures, the plan, everything, and you're going to roll that out this week.
Yeah, it'll have much more detail to it.
Okay.
It'll have more design, more of a look of the footprint of what this can actually become, and so we'll go from there.
My take would be, just if I can throw my opinion in, you got a $50 million investor in downtown Utica. I think that there's got to be a way to somehow find a way to make something work. I mean, that's a lot of cash on the table here with private investment.
Plus the state investment in the More investment in that auditorium is key to this as well, Bill.
Construction starts today too on the Odd, by the way.
I mean, and that is a result of us, of us seeing that more has to be done here in terms of overall infrastructure and investment from different type of parties that are committed, and different viewpoints too are okay to discuss, but when you have someone willing at the table to put that kind of money in a downtown, and across the road, and I know this will get everybody, you have another $300 million committed from the state of New York, the hospital system, putting the other 200 in to complete it, 200 plus, and working in partnership with us and the city. And think about the investment in what Utica will look like in the next few years in terms of activity, and go back and take a look at what happened in Buffalo when they were struggling. Two things happened: a casino located in downtown, and then grew into this multi-million-dollar investment, and the hospital was built in downtown Buffalo, and it's revived that city like nothing else.
All right. Well, that's going to be. We've been looking for that location to see what did a hospital downtown do for a city. You're saying that happened in Buffalo. Same thing with the casino. I will tell you, I spoke to somebody.
And there's other cities. There's numerous others. I point that one out because it's across the state.
Right. I spoke to somebody in Schenectady over the weekend. Said his property taxes went down 4% because after the casino opened up there.
Well, I go back to Mike Galimi's comments today were that we don't need this kind of investment. We need another school.
Right.
You can't get another school without more people. You can't get another school because we can't afford the ones we have now.
Right. Up against the clock, County Executive Tony Picente. Thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Always good to talk to you.
All right. We'll look forward to seeing what comes out later in the week with all this. Got a break.